You know, waiting and why seems to go together a lot, doesn't it? And waiting doesn't just have to be with what we're talking about this month in True Beauty Blog, which is waiting to have sex before marriage. Waiting kind of is always something that we experience in our lives, whether it's waiting to find the perfect spouse, or waiting to have a baby, or waiting for the job, or waiting. And I think waiting a lot of times comes with why. Why, God? Why am I waiting? You told me that this was a promise that you had specifically for me. Why, after all of these prayers and all of these hours and all of these promises that I read in your word, why am I still waiting? And I was going through that. I was talking to a close friend of mine. She kind of was sharing her heart with me yesterday. And I got to thinking about it too, going back to that place of waiting for myself and wondering, when is it going to happen? When am I going to be able to finally enjoy my destiny, what I feel like I'm meant to do, or finally enjoy a husband, a baby? And it reminds me of the story of Zechariah and Elizabeth in the Bible. Zechariah and Elizabeth were waiting to have a baby. He was a priest. He was amongst the highest in the community, and yet she was barren, and the community saw her as barren. He went into the temple, I'm sure countless times, and went before the Lord and asked him, when? Why? Why are we waiting? I'm a priest. I am one of the select few that get to come before you in your presence and ask you myself, when? Why? Why am I still waiting? And yet at that time, very late into their age, God had not given them a child. And it came to this one day where Zechariah was chosen to go into the temple to burn incense in the presence of the Lord. And he walked in, and the angel Gabriel came to him and told him that the Lord was going to give him and Elizabeth a child. I think at that point in his life, and maybe you're experiencing this too, I think Zechariah and Elizabeth kind of lost hope. They lost hope that this promise that they felt was from God was going to be for them, that this special thing that they were going to be able to experience was for them. And Zechariah told them, Gabriel told them that he was going to have a child. And even then, Zechariah said, but we're so old. We're so old. How are we supposed to have a child? It's long past our years of bearing children. And the angel said, God sent me specifically to you to tell you this, and you will not speak until your child is born. I think that story gives me hope, and I pray it gives you hope today. Because if there is a promise that you have been waiting for and asking why, even if you've stopped praying for it, God still hears those prayers. The prayers of your spirit groaning out, asking why. And He will answer it. And even when that answer comes and you still are in disbelief, He won't snatch that promise away and say, oh, well, okay, you don't believe me, so I won't give it to you. Even when Zechariah doubted, God still was faithful in His promise. So if you're in a season of waiting today, I encourage you. It's okay to ask why. It's okay to remind God of the promises that He has. But even if you've lost hope, and even if you've even stopped asking why, remember that He hears you. He hears those desires of your heart because He put them there in the first place. And He is faithful. And your waiting will turn into, it's here. I have it. I bless you today. I pray that you have a great day, and I pray that this month True Beauty Blog blesses you in your season of waiting.